You're listening to the Nerd to Know Media Network. Join us at nerdtoknowmedia.com.
Broadcasting from the Blanchardstown Centre, this is Phoenix FM.
This is 92.5 Phoenix FM, community radio for Dublin 15.
Hey everybody, it's JB Jeremy Borash, and you are listening to Darrow O'Connor on the...
Welcome to the Wrestling Rewind, the only wrestling podcast by fans who don't hate wrestling.
Hello everybody, welcome to Phoenix 92.5 FM, Nerd to Know Media, and of course the WrestlingRewind.com. My name is Darrow O'Connor, and welcome to the show. We were kind of getting into the show, myself and Martin beforehand. We're like, we need to hit record. Next week we're going to go live because we have special guests in studio, as it were. Will we reveal who it is, Martin, or will we let the folks hang? What do you think?
No. Do you know what? In honor of Tony Khan revealing that Punk is coming back, I'd say we give everyone a week's notice. We say who it is.
Okay. So we're going to be live next week. We're going to have two folks from a really good Irish metal band called Cell Games. They're going to join us to talk about Buried Alive 1996.
Oh,
So
I'm looking forward to that.
I'll tell you one thing. You know, I said, hey, look, you guys want to come on the show? Because they're huge wrestling fans, anyone who's listened to them. And pretty much they make music that sounds like SmackDown versus Raw 2005. So it's very good. And I said, right, have to get these guys on. They picked Buried Alive 1996. Haven't seen that show in literally years. So I'm looking forward to checking it out. We're going to be live.
I'm even looking forward to chatting to them, going like, whenever Dara gave you the option, why was this what you came on? Like,
Why
like
did they pick the show?
Like, no, yeah, why this show? And like 96 is such a strange year.
I know.
In
Weird.
terms of people's fandoms, like people who are Attitude Era go kind of
98, 99.
98, 2000, and people who are new gen go a wee bit earlier. So yeah, I'm really interested even just to hear how they came to this.
Because it's weird. In 96, you'd be wanting to watch WCW with the NWO. Like, that's the big year for NWO. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to hearing from them. And that's going to be live next week. So do tune in. We'll have the stream up and everything like that because we need to get back to that. We've kind of been a bit lazy with that for a while. And it will be on Phoenix FM, obviously, the following Tuesday. But we're doing it a little bit different today. We're recording on a Saturday because I was gigging last night, so I wasn't really
sold out.
It was a sold out gig. It really was, and not like the WCW sold out. It was actually like an actual sellout gig. So that was fun in Cork of all places. Now I love Cork. I hate going to Cork because it's 3.5 hours, three and a half hours back, and then either you get a taxi from the airport or you might catch the night link home. I managed to catch the night link home last night. Saved myself €35. I was thrilled, but I was on a bus for 11 hours.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, so
that's dedication to the craft.
Man, and you know what? We make fun of independent wrestlers saying they get a hot dog and a handshake. We didn't even get that. We did get paid though, so I mean that's better. And you
can use money to buy hot dogs.
What's the thing from The Simpsons?
Money
buys
many hot dogs.
Oh, lads. Oh, it's funny though. Like, at least with metal, there is kind of like a payoff at some point. It isn't just a handshake and a hot dog, which can happen. I saw this mad thing, actually. I just want to, on that point, I saw this mad thing on the internet, right, from an independent deathmatch show. So, Dave, I'm blaming you for this because you're the deathmatch guy. I was on the True Penny channel last week.
Our Dave.
Our Dave, yeah.
All right, our
He's
Dave.
bloodthirsty like you wouldn't believe, man.
I thought you meant Meltzer.
No, our Dave. He's bloodthirsty like you wouldn't believe. I was on the True Penny channel last week, and guys, if you're on True Penny, check that out. We had a really good time talking to James about all the things. Um, and yeah, we were talking about death matches, and I was like, I'm not really a big fan of seeing. They're watching some crazy thing where loads of like Japanese young ones are getting thrown through glass and everything, and I'm like, I don't want to see that. And he's like, God, Dave would. I'm like, yeah, but that's sadistic. Like, I don't want to see anyone go through any glass, you
Well,
know.
there you go. That's why you didn't like Anarchy in the Arena.
There you go. I mean, for me, my hardcore wrestling is like the hardcore division 2001, Rhino versus Raven.
Comedy bowling ball spots into the groin.
No, no, a little bit more than that. Rhino versus Raven 2001 from Backlash. That's about the extent of it, and that's a pretty good match to be fair. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just there's something about glass that just I'm like, man, that why are you hitting each other with glass? Like that's that's ridiculous. Um, so yeah, basically there's this spot and it was like two lads. Your man had this sheet of all I can say is glass you put on top of a tabletop.
Oh, not tempered glass.
Temper glass, that was it. And then he had like fireworks all around it, like firecrackers. And this
Yeah.
other guy was like, who the move was going to be done on, was just holding it. The referee helped him light it, and he did a big like somersault onto it, and both of them just looked in pain afterwards. And I was like, why? Why were you doing that? Stop it.
Back in the sort of latter days of high school and the early days of university, I was in not a hardcore, backyard wrestling group, basically.
You were told not to do that now, Martin.
You were
They had
told
the
exactly
warnings.
not
They
to
had the
do that.
warnings.
And we weren't even backyard because we couldn't do it in anyone's backyard. So we
Right.
used to go up to a place called Flagstaff. There's a mountain over Newry called Flagstaff, and we went up there and we dug holes in the ground and we set posts and we'd set up a ring. And then whenever we were leaving, we'd take the posts out because they were set in with concrete and with
Wow.
like an iron tube.
Right.
And when we were leaving, we'd take them out and we'd place the sod back over it.
So no one could
Um,
steal your stuff.
so no one, no, just because like so no one would know what we were doing up there.
Oh wow.
And also you wanted to get out of there at a certain time of the evening because it was apparently a notorious dogging hotspot as well.
Oh wow.
But I remember
a whole new meaning of hardcore
road
wrestling.
dog.
Road dog.
So we were up there. We put an event on up there one day, and
I mean, it sounds like there was an event there every day.
there's
Sorry,
plenty of events. But we had a wrestling event on there one day, and
you're not making it better.
and it was going to end. It was going to end with me getting thrown off a ladder through a table covered in barbed wire. Right.
Wow. Okay, that's not too bad.
Now, bear in mind, there was neither going to be a handshake nor a hot dog, nor like, maybe a couple of people from the local school would see it, and 10 or 12 people might watch it on the the wee website we had going in the early noughties. But we got up there and no barbed wire, and we thought, fuck, we'll go and sorry, I forgot.
Okay, sorry.
We thought, feck it, we'll go and cut barbed wire off one of the fences.
Oh no.
And it was all like,
this is how you get lockjaw.
This is exactly.
Don't do this, folks. Don't do this.
So we went to cut it off one of the fences, and I was looking at this like it's all mangled and rusty and stuff, and I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. And then your man went, oh, hold on, and he went off to his car, and he came back with this box, and he says, it's not barbed wire, but Erwin's moved house. What about this? And it was a big box of light bulbs, like just ordinary.
Oh my god.
Ordinary light bulbs, right? So I was like, yeah, light bulbs, really flimsy glass. That's grand.
No.
Threw them on. Well, that thing sliced my back from top to bottom and side to side. And I still have, if you look at the bottom of my back, you can still see the big, dirty pink scar along the bottom.
Martin, no.
and I got neither a handshake nor a hot dog, and the website that it was on doesn't even exist anymore.
Even these lads probably got a hot dog out of it. So I mean, and I was able to see it over the internet. So fair play to you, Martin. Folks, if you're listening to this, don't do that.
Don't
Don't
do
ever
that.
do that. Don't ever do that. That's a terrible
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. Find
Well,
yourself a proper wrestling school. Go get trained. You will not regret it.
no, I mean, look, rolling around the glass, you think would be a bad idea, and it is. Don't do it. Not worth it.
No, and before we actually came out here, me and Dara are having a crack. Like genuinely, I was going to say if you're a young person, but nah. Regardless what age you are, one of the best things you can do with your time for your physical and your mental health is go and either learn a martial art or a self defense or pro wrestling or
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
something like that. It's the absolute best thing you can do for your mental health, for your physical health, for your social life. Like you'll meet whole new groups of people, and like 100% recommend.
Oh, absolutely. And all joking aside, like it is something that I'd recommend for everyone. Like I don't think there's a martial. I don't. One martial art doesn't work for everybody, or one style of whatever doesn't work for everybody. But there is one out there for everybody. Be it taekwondo, karate, BJJ, learning to wrestle, professional wrestling. As you said, for all the reasons, health comes as a benefit of that. Like it's a side rather than being the actual focus. I think there's a lot there. So yeah, look, I would say absolutely 100% support you on that, man. Like, and here's the thing, certain martial arts, if you really want to break stuff, they'll show you how to do it and you won't end up in hospital. Well, you might, but you probably won't if you do it the right way. If you want to break a brick, you can learn to break a brick. Just don't do it at home. Get someone to show you how to do that because and practice.
Especially not if you're from Donegal. The bloody bricks in the houses are falling apart up there.
Are they?
Yeah, have you not heard about the whole full redress scandal?
No.
Oh my god, there's this whole scandal in Donegal about all these houses that were built with like these
That Micah and Mike.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've heard about that. Yeah.
I can't remember what the name of it is, but yeah, that's the whole thing. All these homes were built with like these like faulty bricks and faulty cement, and now people's houses are literally like splitting in two,
Wow.
like
Wow. No.
physically from the outside.
Yeah, no. I think they actually make you break a house brick, like a proper house brick.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to break. But it's funny actually on the point. So the way like they recently discovered like Roman concrete, like why it's still standing. Apparently, it's the volcanic rock is the secret.
Oh,
That's why
that's
it's just never
class.
moving. Like, and it actually has like healing properties. So like if there's an earthquake and a crack happens in it, it will auto heal itself. It's like holy hell, that's amazing. So yeah, the Romans figured out 2,000 years ago, and we can't like build a house that won't fall apart.
Well,
So
it turns out the whole of South Armagh, where I'm from, the
mm,
Ring of Gullion,
yeah,
is actually the ring that we all think of as like a series of mountains.
yeah.
It's actually not. It's the outline of the crater of a super volcano.
Oh wow.
That's basically the whole size of South Armagh. So that's obviously why we're so tough and unbreakable.
Dang, that's wild.
we're
That's
just
wild.
we're just volcano people.
Volcano people.
We're Gorons. Sorry, I've been playing the new Zelda game.
Oh man, that's wild. Well, there you go, folks. A random aside, and of course, my name is Dara O'Connor. Welcome to the show. And you heard him,
Oh
you know
God,
him, you
yeah,
love
this
him.
is a wrestling podcast, isn't it?
It is. You know him, you love him. 1-0. CM Punk still hasn't answered your challenge, Mr. Martin Hardy. How are things, Martin?
Do you know he did answer, and
He
this is a
didn't.
bit
He decided to
he
come back to
no, he did.
AEW.
He answered.
Right.
I have a bit of an exclusive for you.
Oh well.
So
Okay.
2 weeks ago, me and Punk, he finally got on the phone. Well, it was Ace Steel got on the phone.
Oh yes, of
Um,
course.
we did it through a Zoom, and he tried to bite me through the screen,
I was
but
going to ask. I'm like, are you okay?
he did. He leaned forward, and I saw him move, and then his screen went off, and I was like, "That he just bit the laptop." But anyway, we chatted back and forth. We agreed a time, we agreed a date, we agreed the money for the fight.
Okay.
It was
The
supposed to
purse,
be
if you will.
the winner's share of the purse, and it was supposed to be Me and him going 1-on-1. I was going to do the big reveal the 17th of June. And then I turn on Dynamite this week, and it turns out that he's run off to AEW Collision, debuting on the 17th of
How
June. He
dare he?
ran away.
How dare he?
So we had the fight sorted. We had everything. We were going to go 1-on-1 in Croke Park in front of 90,000 people, and he ran away.
Oh, I call that a
Off,
moral
off,
victory.
off to fight Samoa Joe.
Well, that's our first bit of news. CM Punk is returning to AEW. Collision. It seems like a show solely built around him because he can't work with the Elite, which is fair.
I'm kind of hoping that's an initial thing,
Yeah,
and that over time everybody will calm down and cop on and realize,
those
like,
millionaires need to realize
yeah, there's
what business they're in. You know.
there's big money here. Like, I mean, for God's sake, if Sean and Brett could go out and do business,
Mm.
like, you know, um, but yeah, I'm really hoping. And Collision, like, obviously we haven't seen it yet, but it looks awesome. It looks like really heavily Nitro inspired.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
much.
You mean they literally stole the font?
Yeah,
So-
but it looks like I love it. Um, but I'm really hoping, and I don't know if I'm going to get this. I'm really hoping it has a completely different set from Dynamite, because I know it sounds superficial, but if you're gonna set the two shows apart and make them feel different, like it can't just be the Dynamite set with Collision up on the screen.
No, it kind of has to be. I was watching something during the week, and it had its own set. It had like a completely different set, and like a physical set. They need to do that. They
Oh,
really do. Like and
100%.
it can't just be a case of, oh, we changed the ropes or whatever, because it's like that's that's more annoying than a roster split not meaning anything, because then it's just like, okay, well, why am I watching this? What is the point? Like, it's just,
It's so stale. That's part of what killed Rampage.
yeah, absolutely. Like,
Like, it was
why would you
just,
bother watching it? Like, there's
you
there's no reason.
just change the ring apron, and, like, no, man, they need. And I genuinely do have high hopes for this, and maybe I'm being naive or whatever, but
I don't think so. No, I don't
if
think so.
they've got a different set, oh my god, a physical set, my heart would leap with joy. Do you remember when they used to come out in Nitro, and they had the big physical WCW signs each side?
Yes.
Oh, if they come out and there's two big AEW signs, and, like, you can get thrown into them or climb up them, or
Look,
um
the thing about it is, man, if they're not willing to, if they're not willing to put in that effort, if they're not willing to at least do the bare minimum here to differentiate, and that's the thing that TNA did, back in the day. They went and differentiated themselves fully. They had the impact zone, and look,
yeah,
it was the impact zone. You knew you were in the impact zone, for better or worse. Usually better, unless,
it was there. Yeah,
you know,
no, but
it
you're
was different.
100% right. There's no point in trying to compete with WWE. You have to be an alternative. You have to
Yeah,
be. You can't beat them. You just have to be something else.
and the fact that people are like, listen, we don't like the fact that WWE half-ass it with their stage setup. There you go.
Yeah,
That's something you can invest
it's
money into. And we're not talking about going off and, like, Armageddon 1999. That wasn't a good pay-per-view. I mean, it had its moments, but I still remember the set with all the cars and stuff. Looked amazing.
awesome.
And it's like,
Uh,
a
bloody
little bit of effort.
Halloween Havoc. Like, that was
Yeah,
literally just an inflatable pumpkin, and people still talk about it. Like,
the big swinging things from Backlash.
oh my god! Like, you can get really creative with these things. And look, yeah, they probably cost a few more quid. But it actually ties into one of the notes I have about Night of Champions. So,
Yeah,
when Walter comes out,
yeah.
and WWE do this, oh, I hate it so much. this thing where it's like a digital entrance.
Yes.
You
I
know,
really
it's
don't like it either. Yeah,
oh,
I
I
hate
hate
it.
it so much. But for Walter's digital entrance, what happens is all these amazing banners with Walter's silhouette on them drop around the ring, right?
Mm.
How awesome would that look if it actually happened? Like if they just rigged up the lighting set to drop these like class banners as Walter was coming down. Like it's, you're charging people. I bought my Wembley tickets for All In, and they were 270 quid. So you know,
But
give
look,
us a bit of a show.
but like not even that. Like I wouldn't expect it for everybody. But if it just looked different, if it just had its own feel, I think that's the problem when you're going back and you're watching these shows. It's like the fact that it's I don't even think it's cheaper sometimes to do the whole digital thing, because that can actually cost a fair bit. And I think people kind of lose sight that digital effects, they're not free, and if they're
Yeah,
done bad, they're done bad. Like, I mean, look at Marvel movies sometimes. Like that, the reason why the dip happens is because they're overworked. You
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Um.
100%.
So I think it's more beneficial. And the thing of it is, like, you can have them there. Like, people still want the SmackDown fist back. You know,
Yeah,
which is like the 20 something years later, and he still want it back.
yeah,
You know,
and it was even goofy looking at the time,
it
but it
was
was
goofy looking at the time. Yeah.
it was the fact that it was real.
Yeah.
It's like what's the best Jurassic Park movie?
Oh, it's the best one is technically the second one, but the first one is obviously the one you're going to go for. The second one is actually the best movie.
But even the first and the second one, those are the ones that relied on animatronics with CGI to supplement the animatronics, and then you get into the Jurassic World ones where it's all
Yeah,
CGI,
yeah.
and it's very impressive, and it looks
To be fair, I'd much rather go to Jurassic World than Jurassic Park if I had a choice, because there's a Starbucks there.
that's true. And then of course Jeff Goldblum's famous line in Jurassic Park: you do plan on eventually having dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour?
That's true. You can actually see dinosaurs in Jurassic World. So I mean,
Jurassic.
you know,
But I think people like those physical effects, and particularly if you're going to a live show, you want those physical effects there.
yeah. Look, it's what I say. Look, to draw the analogy to a metal show. I don't want to see four lads up there wearing t-shirts. I just
No,
don't. I mean, I just don't. I'm gonna like, if I'm gonna see a band play, that's boring as hell. Give me a show. You know,
yeah,
and no matter how goofy it is, it's like, do something. Go. And that's important. And if you can take that away, you know, it is a lot, because it's the medium. You're not you're the thing that they're selling in a wrestling show is the show. Wrestling's part of it. Your three ring circus kind of thing is, but at the
yeah.
end of the day, it's the show. It's not the sport. No matter how much we like to sometimes
Well,
say it is, because it's
the
not.
sport is part of the spectacle,
Correct. But I
but
mean,
yeah,
here's
you
the thing.
still need everything else.
Yeah, and I mean, AW sometimes gets that, but then they don't go far enough. WWE goes too far the other way, and I think what if AEW, while planning for this show, they should be like, right, we're at a very interesting crossroads here, because if we don't differentiate this, it's just going to fail, because no
Yeah,
one's going to watch it. It's going to be like Dynamite. It's like, we're just going to watch Dynamite and that's it, because you've
I
told us that's the important one.
I really really hope they've. And do you know what? Maybe the fact that it failed is a good thing, but
Like,
I
here, okay, hold on,
really
hold on.
really hope they've learned a lesson from
Hear me out here, right?
Rampage.
Base the show around Punk.
But
And
yeah,
when
it
I'm
looks like it is going to be.
No, but what I mean about that is, I mean, actually base it around Punk. The ropes are in Chicago colors. The ring apron is Punk's face. You know, I mean, I'm not being facetious. I mean, like, actually just have a big blow up doll of Punk on either side. Just really go for it. I mean, if that's going to differentiate it, where it's like, yeah, because okay, right, 1999 WWE had the McMahon Helmsley era, right, and the Titantron was there, but on the side of it they had a big portrait of Triple H and a big portrait of Stephanie, right, and for like
Oh, that's
four
right.
months,
Yeah.
yeah, for 4 months they had that as the show, and when you're watching it, you're like, okay, this doesn't feel like Raw because
Yeah,
Triple
but
H and
only
Stephanie
only
taking
you
over.
like that because you're the
I
only
loved it. I thought it was
you're the
amazing.
only Triple H fan I've ever met.
but But I mean, when you're watching that show, and we might go back and watch those shows, and you can feel the difference. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, Vince isn't running this. He obviously was, but it was so differently packaged that you're like, right, okay, this feels different, and that's what they need to do. And if it is going as extreme as having a big portrait of Punk, why not? I mean, that would get him over as the biggest heel in the world.
Well,
Imagine him going
you,
to
you
like.
actually you make a good point there. He needs to come back as a heel.
Oh, he does. I mean, he
He
needs to come back and like just love being a heel. He's like,
he
yeah,
has
because I'm brilliant.
completely missed his opportunity to come back. Like, do you remember the first time he returned
Yeah,
with the Rampage, the first dance?
yeah. No, he can't do that.
That's gone.
That's gone. No,
Can't
that's
do that
gone.
again.
Like
He has to come back
the only
as
place he'll get those cheers will be Chicago. That's
yeah.
it.
But even like look at MJF. MJF is a heel everywhere except Long Island.
Yeah.
So you can still be a heel and be a face in your hometown, you know.
Oh yeah, but I mean, he like even when it was announced or when his name was announced, a lot of people were booing it.
Oh yeah.
And the thing about it is, it's like right, you know, he's a lot better as a heel, a lot more interesting as a heel.
Well, sure look, from day one hasn't the reason and like I loved, absolutely loved Punk's run. I thought it was not only one of the best runs in AEW, I thought it was one of the best year-long runs in wrestling history.
Mm,
But you couldn't buy into it because to you, Punk is a heel,
yeah.
and you hated what would you call him?
Walmart greeter
Walmart.
Phil.
Yeah, you hated that.
I did hate it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Because it was
to
so
you it
disingenuous.
was a waste of the character.
Yeah, like here's the thing: he can be completely unchained now and just go hell for like pretty much all the stuff he was doing anyway. He can just do it now and go, "Oh, it's just a character," instead of just him being like that. He can just lean into it. And imagine him showing up at a show and being like, it's a monument to him. He's like, "Yes, I'm the best in the world. I deserve this," and just,
Oh, he
it would
can,
be
yeah,
brilliant. It
and he
would be
can
brilliant.
take like Kenny and the Bucks will be on Dynamite, like putting on, killing themselves, putting on the best matches in the world, and he can like take the piss out of them, and like that'll
Yeah,
get nuclear heat, and
you know what it can be? It can be like if they might if they have the awareness to do it, it would be incredible. But there needs to be a certain amount of awareness here.
yeah,
They're already stealing from WCW, right? Steal from WCW, right?
oh yeah,
Make it an NWO show, but instead of the NWO, it's CM Punk,
yeah.
where the whole show is basically his vanity show. His vanity project.
Oh, have them slag off Dynamite, like have them
Oh yeah,
be a Collision is where it's at, and like and the fact that like beyond Punk, like this is a whole like a basket case of outcasts. Like you've got Miro on this show, you've got Andrade on this show, you've got Thunder Rosa on this show. It's like
that's what I'm saying.
it's where they took all the problem wrestlers and put them here.
Yeah, dude,
Let them at it.
you have the NWO like
Yeah,
just there, but instead of the NWO, it's wrestlers that can't wrestle with anybody because they're problems.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it's I like you say I think that they do uh recognize what they have, make it different, learn the lesson from Rampage, and like
yeah.
breaks my heart to say it because when Rampage was announced,
Oh,
I
you
was
were
so
you were over the moon.
because it's like a 1 hour show. I was like, that's amazing. That's so easily digestible. That's to put it on and give me 3 banger matches and 3 class promos, and bang, it's done in 60 minutes. Like, that's incredible. And it just didn't turn out that way.
So
Uh,
there's a report that there's going to be a stable around Punk at Collision.
that's amazing. Like, that's.
But that makes sense. The thing about it is, if again,
Do,
I don't know. I would lean more into that. I would literally build the entire show around him.
do you know what I was watching during the week? And she hasn't been mentioned yet,
Hmm.
but I was watching. I don't know if you've seen the latest OSW.
No.
It's all about T. It's a whole new TNA arc.
Oh, amazing.
It's the what do they call them? The main event mafia.
Oh yes, the
Oh,
Medei
it's
were.
so good, right? I mean, the OSW shows are so good. The
The
main
main
event
event
mafia
Mafia
is
wasn't bad, to be fair.
respect. Gotta respect. It's all about respect. But anyway, they're talking about it, and on it is Serena Deeb, and then
Yes.
they were talking about, yeah, Serena Deeb was in Punk's outfit in
Yeah,
WWE.
the Straight Edge Society, yeah.
Yeah, she's the one who got her head shaved.
Yes.
She's in AEW, and she hasn't been heard from for
Oh,
months.
that's interesting.
Months. No, like, literally nothing. And like, they would always even keep her because she's such a good wrestler. They would, even if they weren't pushing her, they would have her come out and wrestle a new person, and just
Oh.
she's a real learning wrestler. Like, you go in the ring with her and you'd
Yeah,
learn a
because she's
lot.
trainer now as well.
Yeah, nothing. Haven't heard from her in months.
Interesting. Like, the thing
So
about it is, I mean, look, you have Punk. He's nuclear heat anyway.
yeah,
You got like, it, I would just be like, right, we're going hell for leather here. The ropes are in the Chicago colors. The banners have a portrait of Punk everywhere. The wrestlers have to swear an oath of allegiance to Punk. I mean, really go for it. Because the thing about it is, it's like people would watch that because they're like, man, this is very over the top, or this is so annoying, or that. And then he comes out and he says, yeah, I'm brilliant, and it's just this just incredible amount of just, and then when you can run a story off that where you have even bring over what's your man's name, the cowboy lad.
oh, Hangman Adam
Yeah,
Page.
you Hangman goes over and he's like, you're actually not great. He cuts a promo on him, and then that's the big feud. And then what happens is about 2 months later, or after the pay per view, when he wins, the show goes back to some kind of normality based on like, you know, being
There,
normal.
there's
That's your feud.
s-
That's how you book it.
there's so
That's
much
how
they
you
can
book it.
do with it. There's
Yeah, but
so much.
but but
And
there needs to be awareness. They
yeah,
need to they need to have self-awareness, because if there's no self-awareness, they won't do that.
well, look, we will find out in 14 days. I cannot wait for. I'm genuinely, and it's because I'm not just hyped because like it's a new show and Punk's back and all that. It's a genuine tipping point moment for AEW, because they've built up such good faith with people for so long. But I mean, they've had a few stumbles. Things haven't
Yes.
always been like. I mean, I think people over exaggerate the past year, but things genuinely haven't been.
I have to be honest with you, man. I I thought the brawl out thing was the best thing AEW ever did.
Oh, if they'd been able to capitalize on it.
Like it or not, like,
Do you not remember when we did the review of it, and I was like, oh my god, I was watching it and I was like, this is the best promo ever. This is like he's setting up
the
like
best
he's
promo
he's
ever.
he's setting up like dozens of feuds for the next year. Like, this is amazing. And then all these reports started coming out that it was real, and I was just like, oh no,
Oh, no,
oh no.
yeah, you have to just let him off. That's the thing. You just have to let him go, because you know I don't know. Look, we'll get into it, but Punk's whole thing, he hasn't wrestled, and he's kept himself more relevant than most of the guys on the show. I mean, I was watching Double or None, and I was more interested in what was going on backstage than I was, and it's the old WWE thing from like 2018, where it's like, I really don't care what's going on, but the backstage stuff is very interesting.
But
And I
that's
mean,
Punk's. That's Punk's whole like MO. Like Punk just disappeared for 7 years, and everybody was fascinated with it. Like crowds were chanting. Do you know what Punk did?
Well,
Punk took Jim Cornette's catchphrase, how can I miss you if you won't go away? And
mm.
he took it to the extreme. He
Lit-
never come back, and then everybody just went nut. Like, do you remember there was a whole period, like of about 3 years, where crowds just chanted CM Punk in the middle of matches?
but that
That,
was but that was like a statement of being against what they were watching. So instead of booing it, they would just chant CM Punk.
but that's what I mean. Like that, like, and he didn't engineer any of that. He just
No.
said nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, man, he is like for all his faults, he is genuinely one of the most fascinating characters in wrestling.
He's one of the greatest workers
Yeah,
ever. He really is.
and
He really is.
that's why I hope that if he has been given a sort of an undue amount of influence over Collision, like normally I wouldn't like the idea of a wrestler having
Apparently
that
he has
much influence.
complete creative control.
Well, for his own
Yeah.
storylines, but if he has, I would kind of trust him. I would kind of trust that he would do really interesting storylines and interesting matches. And
What about me just like, oh brother, that doesn't work for me tonight, brother.
oh my god, so like from day one of AEW, people have been going, "Oh my god, it's WCW."
It
Like
is.
it's
It
total
is.
nonsense, absolute nonsense. It's not. But
Man, they're
but
using
if Punk got that level of control and used it like that, my heart would break. It would
I
actually
mean, they're
break.
literally using WCW like fonts and everything. Like,
Yeah, but they're using stuff. They're using like good WCW. So people say WCW as like a bad thing these
yeah,
days,
that's true.
but people forget that there was a period of bloody great WCW. And in fact, you know what I was thinking for one of our arcs somewhere down
Right,
the line?
right.
We should do like an pre NWO, like an early mid
Oh,
90s WCW arc, like
that'd be
you know,
unreal.
like a um Surfer Sting and
Yes, yes.
original Cactus Jack and original Vader, and like WCW during then was brilliant.
I mean, even into the NWO as well. Like, the wheels only really fell off. Well, I mean, what was it,
Yeah, but the
1999 when
yeah,
we were covering it?
but the NWO stuff has been covered to death.
Yeah,
Like there's a whole period there of really genuinely good WCW, like Four Horsemen, Arn Anderson. Like there's really genuinely really good matches there that I watched as a kid, and I don't think I appreciated because it was easier to look at WWF and go, "Oh, there's the Manitor and Juke the Dumpster," and you know,
the
whereas
Manitor.
yeah, whereas like WCW at the time was doing these much more complex, not realistic, but much more grounded characters, and yeah, that's just something to think about.
I think that's a great idea, man.
It's like
All
say,
right.
even a broken clock gives the right time twice a day.
So here, speaking of broken clocks, what do you think of? So hold on, we talked some AEW. So we'll quickly compare the two pay-per-views. So one was on a Saturday and one was on the Sunday.
Right, well, just before we do, one
Yep,
very last quick moment of news.
sure.
Today is June 3rd, June 29th. Finally, AEW Fight Forever gets released. The spiritual successor to the greatest wrestling game ever, No Mercy. Will you be getting it, Dara?
When it's a fiver.
Do you know what? I'm okay with that because I understand that mentality and I will support you in that. But if I find out that you've waited till it was a fiver but paid 60 quid for 2K23, me and you's gonna have words.
Well, I've already got 2K23.
So you did pay for it.
No. In all
Oh,
truth,
oh, did you use your?
in all truth, I got a review copy, folks.
Ah,
So I will not. I will be giving a review of 2K23 eventually, in the near future. But no, I didn't pay 60 quid for that. Don't worry.
save it till the end of the month, and we'll do a double episode. You can review 2K23, and I'll review
Oh,
Fight
very
Forever.
cool. Okay, I think that's a really good idea. It's a really
Nice.
good idea.
Right, on you go.
Okay, so right, you watched both of these shows. Did you watch them both together, or like how did you do it?
Yes, together. I set up two televisions side by side.
The
I just hit
simulcast.
go. No, do you know what? I watched them both twice. I was out with a couple of friends from Iceland, and I
Yes.
don't know what you know about the Icelandics, but you think we're big drinkers in Ireland. Those lunatics have us bet. Um, I was out with a few of them on Saturday night, and I came back and tried to watch Night of Champions. I believe I might have texted you and Dave a number of times about 2 a.m. out of my mind. So I had to watch it again then during the week. And then because it was so destroyed on the Saturday, I sat up the Sunday to watch Double or Nothing. This time, just more hungover than any human being deserves to be. So it also deserved another viewing during the week. So I've seen both of them twice.
Okay, that's fair. I watched the second one when I got back from London because I was off on the Monday and Tuesday. Well, not Tuesday. I was off the Monday. I was watching it on Tuesday. And I watched most of Night of Champions live, which was grand after because I was at MCM Comic Con in London last week,
Oh, very good.
and it just happened to be on after Comic Con, which was nice. Um, so yeah, I that's how I watched them. So it was,
How come?
huh?
How come we didn't have a stall at London Comic Con?
We will. I'm gonna try get us one. I'm gonna get us one next year. Like it, man. That place is huge. A huge, hundreds of thousands of people were just passing. I've never seen so many people in my life.
Do you know what we
So
need to do?
yeah,
Even if they won't give us a stall, it's so big that we could probably get in there with like a table and just
you know what? We probably could.
just set a table up.
We probably could. I know they have a media center and stuff like that, so I will look into it next year. But man, it's such a like it's a huge place. But afterwards, I was like, right, I'm wrecked. I'm exhausted. What's on? Oh my god, I couldn't believe it was on. I was like, oh yeah, that's on. So it was nice to just kind of sit down and actually be able to enjoy the pay-per-view. Um,
Oh, that's good.
yeah. So look, we have 20 minutes to get through these. So let's go 10 minutes and 10 minutes. So which one do you want to go with first?
Well, Night of Champions was on first, so
Okay, so we do
so
another
what do you want to do? We'll do like sort of general overview, and then
Yeah,
when we go into the when we
yeah,
go into the we'll go into more detail on the podcast side of it.
yeah. I think that's probably a good idea.
All right,
Um,
fair, good plan. Let's go.
so Night of Champions was kind of tale of 3 or 4 matches, but overall I thought it was a very very good show, a very very strong show. For the most part, the opening up with the World Heavyweight Championship was actually a genius way. Like it was very good. It really got the show started off well. It was a very good match. Seth Rollins was the heavy favorite, which was kind of bizarre, really, to think about it. They did not like AJ at all, which was also kind of strange. But yeah, AJ should have won, but I'm also kind of glad Seth won.
Yeah, well, of
Good.
course they didn't like AJ. It was Islamic mathematicians who first figured out that the Earth wasn't flat. So
No, it was the Greeks.
was it? No,
Yeah, no, it was the
it
Greeks.
was
Yeah,
no.
yeah, it was, and then it was rediscovered.
I'm nearly certain Neil deGrasse Tyson told me it was an Islamic fella.
It was probably rediscovered
I
in the
don't know,
Renaissance.
Dara. I have too much love and respect for you to argue with you. So,
We will
so
we will pick this up next week when we have
you
time
you
to.
you take it up with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'll go one on one with Punk, and you go one on one. you you'll be in Punk's corner, and deGrasse Tyson will be in my corner. Oh my God, we actually could sell out Croke Park.
Totally good. But no, that's fair. I mean, look, that could be true, could not be true. But I would say the Greeks figured it out because they did. You know. Anyway, it's a whole thing. We're not getting
Yeah,
into Greek
we don't
philosophy.
need to fall out over it.
No, we're not getting into Greek philosophy. It's not happening. This
All right,
podcast is only about
Plato.
this. It wasn't Plato. Who was it? No, it wasn't Donatello. It could have been Donatello, not the
Ah,
turtle.
no. You're sorry. I said Play-Doh.
Oh, Plato.
Yeah, because your mind's so mushy and malleable.
No, that's fair. I'm talking about the philosopher. I was like, no, I think it was Donatello who had. I'll figure it out for next week. Other than that, I really enjoyed Gunther and Mustafa Ali. I was amazed
Oh,
Mustafa didn't win actually, but Gunther killed him, and it was just like, wow, that's actually a very good. It's the best Mustafa's ever looked in a semi squash match. To be fair,
I thought
and
it was the perfect match. It wasn't a squash, but it was so well balanced. It wasn't a squash, but it gave Mustafa like it made him look so good. Like he was such a fighting champion against this overwhelmingly dominant force. But yeah, in the end, Walter just murdered him.
yeah, like I mean, but that's what you wanted, and the crowd.
Oh yeah, it was really well balanced.
While the crowd were like disappointed, they're also like, "Oh, that was actually really good," you know. And it was weird because like Mustafa is like was the heavy favorite, even the video packages before and all that kind of stuff. But Gunther's still just that like force of nature where you're like, "Holy hell, yeah!" Like he is the champion for a reason, you know.
Oh,
That was
he
great.
is the. I think I've said this on the show before. If I could take anyone from WWE and put them in AEW, he's the only. Well, okay, him and Asuka, but
Right.
he would be my number one pick.
Oh, that's fair. That's totally fair. Um, Speaking of new champions, we had Asuka who defeated Bianca, and I mean, I was over the moon. I think
Yeah.
Bianca's title reign has been very underwhelming, which
Mhm.
is a shame. But Asuka is just
I mean, it's been
she's a star.
grand. She's done everything that
That's the problem.
like if she
That's the
beat
problem.
Asuka, what was she gonna do next?
No, it's that the character doesn't change. I mean, she just spins her hair around, and that's about it. It's like, listen, I need you to do something else that
Yeah,
isn't that. And if I was in her position now, I'd be like, right, let's reinvent. Because every time Oscar comes back, she's still Oscar, but she reinvents herself in such a way that you're like, oh, this is very interesting. And that whole feud was actually great, though. So I'm glad she won. Rhea Ripley
and
also had
and
her
also
moment.
just awesome for Asuka. Like,
Oh yeah,
what a
absolutely.
deserving, amazing wrestler.
Rhea
Sorry.
annihilated Natalia in like a minute, which was fair.
I mean, I thought they could have done a kind of a reverse Walter Mustafa thing there. Like they could
Yeah.
have had Natalia go 8 minutes, still had Rhea look dominant. It seemed kind of pointless to fly Natalia to Saudi Arabia to bring her out to beat her in a minute. Like I don't know. Like I say, I don't watch the
Natalia
show
needed
week to
look.
week, so
Look, she got paid.
yeah, yeah. Look,
You
maybe
know,
Natalia can't even go anymore. Maybe she
that's what I
can't.
thought too. That
Maybe
that
she
was
can't do.
that was my that was my thought on that actually. I was like, is she, you know, maybe she has it in her contract where she look, I need to be in all these shows to get the paycheck or something because yeah, maybe she just can't go anymore, man. And Rhea just needed the moment, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I'm not particularly bothered by it. Yeah.
Brock defeated Cody, thank God, in about
I'm
9 minutes and 40 seconds.
telling you, man, this is. Sorry, go ahead. You give your.
I didn't watch this match. I was just happy that it was over.
Okay, so you didn't watch this match, and I'm going to tell you what happened, right?
Go on.
Cody comes out with his broken arm. His arm's so broken that when he does his whoa bit, he can't even put both arms up.
Oh,
So he starts his match with Brock Lesnar, the man who ended the Undertaker's streak. with one arm.
Mm.
Cody valiantly fights through it, and he nearly beats Brock Lesnar a couple of times. And then Brock Lesnar puts his broken arm in a Kimura
Oh,
several times, and Cody breaks out of it and rolls out of it and gets the ropes and blah blah. Right, and then in the end, he didn't tap. He passed out.
that's
This
not a
is
thing.
this is exactly what happened Cody in AEW. He pushes this uber white meat babyface thing. He refuses to go heel. He refuses to do anything with any subtlety or nuance to it, and the crowd turns against him. So, look, uh, and uh, I don't know if this is going to sound controversial or not, but this is it. WWE fans only like Cody because he left AEW. That's it. That's the only reason they like him. If you're a pure WWE fan and you've never watched AEW, all he is Stardust who has come back
Hold on.
and
He's
taken
not.
the makeup off.
Stardust was amazing.
again,
Dashing Cody Rhodes was amazing.
again, he's the only man I've ever met who says Triple H is his favorite wrestler, and you're the only man who loves Stardust.
What wasn't there to like about Stardust? He was great.
But the point is that, and I genuinely, and I don't mean this as a tribal thing, like the only reason WWE fans love Cody Rhodes is because he left the competition and he's the
Right.
only one who left and came to them, right?
Right.
See this relentless, I'm just the best, I'm the white meat baby face, I never do any wrong and I always fight for the good and blah blah. That irritates modern fans very, very quickly.
I
Very
f-
quickly.
I find the whole thing. I find his whole character extremely irritating. I mean, as you said, a lot of it just. I know you're shocked. It's more just I'm like, as you said, it's everything he's done in AEW again, and I'm like, I didn't care the first time.
God, do you remember like in AEW when he ended racism? Like
Yeah, he
he's
kept that speech.
like
Oh my
he
god, yeah, it was
was
bad.
like he was in AEW for 3 years before he left.
Right.
3 years those fans, and they were so behind him at the start. And
Yeah.
then he actually benefited from the pandemic because things were getting a wee bit. And then it was like he gave that really great speech at the start of the pandemic that like we're still here and we're going blah blah blah, and that kept him going.
Mm,
And then he solved racism, and then he got his back set on fire, and I mean, bit by bit, every week you could hear very loud cheers, but that section that was booing was
mm,
growing bigger and bigger every week. Because see that it's Superman, right?
yeah.
It's an absolutely pure, incorruptible good guy is boring.
Yeah.
It's so boring.
No, absolutely, it is, and it's the problem with Superman. Like it's same with Cena, Hulk Hogan, even Roman Reigns. To be honest with you, not now, but before he did
Yeah, but
his
sure, he
tribal
only
chief thing.
became popular when he when he
Yeah,
turned.
no, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
because it's very, very hard to book a Superman. It's very hard to book someone who just does it for the right reasons, and it's like, all right, no, you're
Yeah,
not. It's very disingenuous, and that's
it,
kind of. Sorry, go on.
no, but yeah, and even if it's not disingenuous,
Mm,
it's grating because
yeah,
it's a guy standing up there saying he's better than you.
yeah. No, that's it, and it's just kind of like, right. Where do we go from there? And it's just never good. It's never fun. It's never something I want to see more of. So I just can't. I just can't with him. I'm like, God no, please go away.
I
And he never
honestly
does.
no, exactly, and I honestly think part of the reason he left AEW was he refused to turn heel. He said he won't turn heel because apparently he's 37 now, I think. And he says he wants to be done with wrestling by the time he's 40 and he wants to go into politics.
Oh,
So he doesn't want like a load of footage of him doing a load of heel stuff. Like because that's had such a detrimental effect on the mayor of Knoxville.
Well, he's already done loads of heel stuff.
Yeah, well, whatever his reasoning is, like that's what he's given now, right? And that's why apparently why he refused to turn heel. And like I thought this was all a work. Like when he was in AEW, he was doing this like super babyface stuff and getting booed for it. And I was like, this guy is on the verge of the greatest heel turn ever. And he's going to do one of those amazing heel turns where he turns heel and thinks he's still the babyface, and it's going to be the best story ever. And then he just left and went somewhere else to be babyface. I think he just really wants to be cheered.
I think so too. I think he believes that he deserves to be cheered. That he is as big of a star. 'Cause I don't know anyone who goes, "I'm a Cody Rhodes fan," like unless they're like they just they just really really like AEW, and they like the for him. But I don't know anyone who's a Cody Rhodes fan.
Well, I always liked his matches, even when the character was a bit irksome. I really like his style of wrestling. I like that old school WCW wrestling Southern style,
Yeah,
like NWA, like
wrestling.
Yeah, when he was NWA champion, I really like that, and that's good. But I mean, it's like we were talking earlier about wrestling is. Yes, it is the wrestling, but it is also the character. It is also the presentation. It is also the spectacle. And he has the wrestling side down of it. Everything else is like,
I don't know.
I mean, the middle of this match, he had a broken arm. It is literally in a cast. Brock Lesnar has him in a Kimura in the middle of the ring for minutes, and he struggles valiantly to the ropes. It's like, that's not even like, that's not babyface. That's just superhero nonsense. Like you can't
Superhero nonsense.
But it is, because it's not even like it's not even like, so the perfect example, Stone Cold passing out in the sharpshooter, Bret Hart.
Yeah.
That's a gutsy guy who won't give up, but Bret gets him in the middle of the ring and just breaks him, because at the end of the day, he's a human, right? Cody's not human. Brock friggin' Lesnar has Cody's broken arm in a Kimura, and Cody struggles to the ropes. Like there is a very, very small time limit before the fact that he came from AEW, the novelty of that wears off, and people are going to get sick of this nonsense pretty quickly. And if their plan is to put the belt on him at next year's WrestleMania, I think that's going to wear off long before then.
That's fair. I don't know, man. I'm just, I just don't see it, and I know some people have seen it and they do like Cody Rhodes and think he's great, but how much of that is, as you said, tribalism or whatever, but look, it is what it is. We're gonna have to leave it there. We're gonna have to leave it there because we have hit time on the Phoenix FM show. We'll be back next week with our live show, guys. So if you're listening to us now and you're like, that was great, I want more of it, 10:30, 10:30 Friday, over on Twitch and YouTube, all that stuff. Go over to wrestlingrewind.com. All the links are there. We will be live. We're going to try to do it more often, where we can take your texts, your chats, your calls, all that stuff as well. Martin, is there anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Yes. Double or Nothing was better.
That's fair. Don't forget, go over to nerdtoknowmedia.com, thewrestlingrewind.com, or the True Penny channel, where you can get the rest of the podcast right now. See you next week, guys.
You have nothing else to do on a Saturday? Do you like nerd things? Now check out Nerd to Know Basis here on Phoenix 92.5 FM, 5 PM to 6 PM, and then head over to nerdtoknowmedia.com for all of our shows as part of the Nerd to Know Media Radio Network.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.
All right, everybody. That was a botch. That was a fucking Sin Cara botch. You were watching with some Sin Cara, weren't you?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
man.
saw some of that. The different variations and I was actually really impressed when he would jump into the ring until I found out that there's a wee trampoline there.
And that they always recorded it twice.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. All right, and we're back. Martin, before we went to break, we were talking about Night of Champions. Kevin
We
Owens,
were.
Sami Zayn defeated the Bloodline, giving Roman Reigns his first loss in a long time, and holding on to the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, and the Bloodline turning on Roman Reigns. So, you know, you said Double or Nothing was better, but what did you think about this ending?
Yeah, I mean, I said Double or Nothing was better because it was the end of the the broadcast, and
That's fair.
that's an oversimplification. I mean, there's so before we talk about this match, I'll talk very generally. There's different styles of presentation and different styles of matches, and a lot of it will just come down to personal preference.
Mm.
And I mean, like every time we watch these WWE pay-per-views, I have the same issues with them.
Mm.
Like, so this was 3 hours and 12 minutes long.
Far too long.
It had 90 minutes of wrestling on it.
Yeah.
There's bell to bell. There's like 12 to 15 minutes between each match of ads and promos and entrances and
Nonsense.
look, yeah, and it's just it makes it drag for me. I actually wanted to ask you, and do you know what? I know you talked about it earlier, but I'm going to genuinely defer to your opinion on this
Sure.
because
Cody
the
Rhodes
opening
terrible.
match, the what?
Cody Rhodes terrible.
So the opening match, right? I was
Yeah.
super hyped for it.
Right.
Seth Rollins, AJ Styles on paper, that's brilliant.
Yes.
Now, maybe it's because I was tired. Maybe it's because this world title, I just think is the dumbest thing ever. Like,
I don't think it's so bad. But go on.
so, well, for me, it's so devalued and stupid, and you couldn't beat the actual champion, and it's such. But that's beside the point. Maybe it was that. Maybe it was the fact that I have a genuinely very real personal dislike for Seth Rollins, not the character. Like,
The man.
yeah,
Wow.
maybe,
Okay.
maybe it was that. But for me, that opening match was so boring. Now,
Okay.
I accept that I have all these biases, and also it was Saturday, and I was really looking forward to Double or Nothing on Sunday. So I accept that I have all these biases. So if
Right.
you tell me it was a good match, I will accept it was a good match. What was your view on it?
I thought it was a good opening match.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't
then
think I don't think it was a good match, if that makes sense. I mean, for what it was to get the crowd going, it did its job. There wasn't, but was it the best match of the night? No. Was it the best match that I've seen in a long time? No. Was it the best match even these could have had together? No. But for this night, it did its job.
But this is what I mean. Like, shouldn't it have been
Yeah, it
Seth
should have been.
Rollins
Yeah.
and AJ Styles? That's a dream match.
Yeah.
That's like a like I know they're both in WWE, but that's almost like a Forbidden Door type
But
thing.
it's a dream match we've seen many times at this point.
Yeah, see, so I don't watch week to week, so this has happened before, has it?
Not for this on this level, but yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, look, I was pretty hyped for it. It and the Walter match were the two things I was really looking forward to, and I like I genuinely don't want to sound like I'm just down on WWE, but I was very disappointed by that match.
No, man,
But
I think that's
anyway,
fair. I think that's fair. But look, the show
On
overall,
to the main event.
the show overall, look, again, I was at Comic Con. I was completely overly stimulated because of Comic Cons are just insane. So all I wanted was something that was grand, and this was grand. Was it the best show in the world? No. Well, you know what this was? Because I watched it right after. This was Men in Black 3. Right? That's what this was. I had the same impact on me as Men in Black 3, where I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna change the channel. It's grand. And that's what Night of Champions 2023 was for me. Men in Black 3. Does that answer your question a little bit more?
It's an indictment. But tell me about you never got talking about the main event specifically. Tell me about the main event.
Look, I did think the actual build was quite cool as far as like the promo early on in the show where where Sami Zayn was going on and on about God knows what. He wrecks my head too. And then Kevin Owens was like, "No, listen, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. You have to stop talking like that. We're actually gonna win." And I was like, "Oh, that's actually really good." So that kind of got me into it. I was fully expecting Roman Reigns to just win. I was like, "Oh, he's gonna win," and him just having all the belts because that would have been the best. But he didn't. I mean, you know, I kind of wished he did, where he just has all the belts and just wins by himself. But no, they didn't do that because I mean they have some level of control. And yeah, the turn was cool. It was great to see them kind of do something so big outside of the US. You know, like this was a big angle. This was like bigger than I think it's the biggest thing they've ever done on one of these shows or any shows outside of the US. Because sorry, hold on, they had like 2 title changes, including a new title, and they had the breakup of the bloodline. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
You know,
yeah,
that's a lot. Like
there have been whole WrestleManias where a title hasn't changed.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like
that's a really good point. Yeah,
it was a great use of it, you know, because instead of just being like, because it's supposed to be like WrestleMania, you know, but I often think these shows are nearly better than WrestleMania in some ways.
Do you remember they used to describe them as a WrestleMania level or a WrestleMania adjacent show?
A WrestleMania like structure.
Do you know what, Dara? You have to buy Tears of the Kingdom because they have in it. There is a mechanism where you can literally fuse stuff. Like you can make anything in the game.
Oh my god! Can you make a boxing structure?
No, but here's the thing. So there's these piles of wood everywhere, and you're supposed to use them to make like a cart or a trail or whatever. But you can literally make a box-like structure.
Is that what they call it?
You need Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh my god, that's wonderful! It's a box-like structure. Oh wow, I love it. Anyway, so look, yeah, I mean, these shows had a bit of a rocky history. Still don't really sit well with me for obvious reasons, but at least stuff is happening on them. You know, I think they probably copped on that they're like, "You're just sending us over garbage." You know, we want something to actually happen. And they're probably like, yeah, we kind of were. So here you go. And I think they've made peace with the fact that, you know, this gives them the opportunity to test stuff out with new markets, obviously make a boatload of money, and kind of do some pretty historic stuff. Again, look, I liked watching a pay-per-view at normal times. I liked being able to watch a pay-per-view and then do other things after it. That was great. So I'm like, I'm never going to complain about these shows in that sense because it's like we can watch them like people, you know, instead of like, you know, Morlocks, where you have to like watch them like 4 a.m. You're like, oh my god,
vampires.
Vampires. It's like that's why when people are like, "Dara, how are you so able to stay up?"
Do you know what, though?
So late. It's like because I'm a wrestling fan my entire life.
Do you know what though? I think both companies, I think AEW and WWE, are both learning from this.
Yeah, they are.
They
are.
The American audience is burnt out.
Yeah.
They've
You know,
had
come here.
American
Right.
audience have had
Hold
the
on, come here.
best.
You know what it is, right? Sorry for interrupting you, but
No,
it
no,
is
go on.
relevant, right? Last night I played a sold out show in Cork,
Yeah.
right? There's a reason for that. The Cork fans are
Poor
amazing.
deprived people of Cork have
Exactly.
had nothing but
Exactly.
banjos,
So no, when you're playing around,
bowrons for 100.
you're back.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I knocked the lead out. I thought you were just laughing.
No,
But
no.
I
I was like, he
turned
really
out
got
I'd
into
knocked.
it.
I turned out I'd knocked the lead out, and I was like, "Wow, Dara really liked my banjo joke. He's
I
done
did
one of
like
those.
your, I
He's
did
done one
like.
of those really long, silent laughs."
No, it was an audible laugh. But I mean, yeah, like that's what happened. They had nothing for ages, or most bands would go to Dublin, and with a result, everybody in Dublin got burned out. So when you play around the country, people show up to shows, and the crowds are usually better. No disrespect to the Dublin crowds, obviously, but I mean, it is a capital city kind of thing, and I'm assuming like the same thing happens in America when it comes to wrestling because it's like, yeah, you get everything. You can just show up to a
Not,
WrestleMania.
but hold on. Like, not only do Americans get everything in terms of WrestleMania and Double or Nothing, they
Yeah,
also get Raw and SmackDown and Dynamite, and they
yeah.
also get WWE Live and House Rules. And like, if you're a wrestling fan in the US,
And the
you're
also you left out the most important one, TNA Impact.
TNA, the Impact Zone,
The Impact Zone.
where you can go and watch, what is it, like 7 episodes be recorded in one setting. But so like it amazes me. Now I assume there's an expense to it, but it amazes me they don't go international more often. Because even when they go to Canada, like Canada's only up the road, the, the fans are
It
haywire.
it's not so much the expense, it's the delay, man. That's what it is. But the fact now, like WWE broke this mold a couple of years ago with Beast from the East. I think that's when it really started to be like, okay. But um that's what it is. It's because they don't want it taped. And the reason why SmackDown and Raw really can't be done that way all the time is because it needs to be a live show. But with pay-per-views, it's just like, okay, let's just do it at like 5 o'clock or whatever. Which is,
Yeah,
well, no, it's 6 o'clock usually. It's 6 p.m. It's just something that is going to take a bit of time for them to really kind of adjust to. But I
but
think we're at the point now where we're almost there.
look at these Raw shows
Mm.
where these guys are wrestling to absolute silence. Like, and then look at the backlash they had in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's even bloody part of the US, but it's just not, you
It's
know?
just, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
like,
the crowd were haywire. Like,
but there
do you
is,
think
there,
do you think AW, they're going to Wembley, they've knocked out 70,000 tickets already,
Mm.
and that's before Punk was even announced,
Mm.
right? Do you think there is an arena anywhere in the US where AW could sell 70,000 tickets?
No,
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 of course not.
no, there isn't.
Like, the, I think both companies are sort of slowly starting to wake up to the massive potential of the international audience.
Yeah, look, it took them long enough to realize it, but
I know it took them 40 years.
but then again, I mean, better late than never, in the sense that when you're going to these shows, you can actually be like, okay, you're going to get your full, your full
Full
array of,
house,
yeah,
yeah,
but also a full
and
array
a
of fresh people who are
yeah,
coming in
and a
and not
rabid
burned out.
audience
Yeah,
and a loud audience who's popping for
who
everything. And
want to be there,
oh, like
who want to be there.
who are mad. I have 2 bloody tickets to All In
Well,
because I was so panicked about getting one the first time
I was
that I
so panicked.
that I bought one for one of these bloody upper terraces that's half a mile away, And then I did, because I've never been to a wrestling show. I mean, I've been to indie shows before, but I've never been to a major wrestling show before. So I didn't even know that they released the tickets in waves.
Mm.
So that if you don't get like a good ticket on day one, that doesn't mean you have to buy a rafters ticket. It means you can just wait till the next wave is released and buy a ticket then. So now I have a really good ticket that I paid 270 bloody quid for,
Wow.
and I also have a rafter ticket for 30 quid. That,
Are you gonna?
that
And what are you gonna do with them?
well, I'm either going to go and watch the show and at some stage go up to my rafter seat to see what it's like, or give that ticket to my good friend Dara if he wants to
Oh.
go. Free, free £30 ticket for Dara.
I might take you up on that.
Yeah, I love you, but you're not getting the £270 one. I'll
No,
tell
no,
you
I mean
that.
that's fair. That's fair. But I just think it'd be funny to like, just show up and go, "Hey, I just came up to see how the Boers are doing."
Yeah, because I just wanted to see what it looked like from way up there. Because I've had this thing for so long where I've been watching like big wrestling shows on television, and it's like like 70,000 people, 93,000, even though that was a lie. Um, people in the arena, and I was like, wow, that looks so impressive. But then I look up at like the top corner and I go, what in the hell is that guy even seeing?
All he's
Like,
seen is here's the thing.
he's
All he's
three
seen is
quarters of a mile away from the ring.
no, he's not seeing any. All he's seeing is like the TV. That's why the TV's so big.
Yeah, but I'm sat at home in me pants with a bottle of whiskey and I see
Yeah,
the TV.
exactly. Look,
And it only cost me 19 quid.
but the trick is to get the cheap seats and then just be a heel in the crowd where you cheer for all the bad guys. And that's and
But can
you
they
drink a
even
hate the
hear you?
points.
There must be an awful delay where, like, so let's say I'm up in the back seats and then
Yeah.
CM Punk comes out and I go, boo! And he's wrestling Kenny Omega. And then Kenny Omega comes out. But by the time Kenny has come out, my sound has traveled. So now it sounds like I'm booing Kenny Omega. It's like, oh
No,
no,
I didn't mean that.
cursed by physics.
No. See, the trick is to be a heel to the crowd. So
The
that's
heel to the you
exactly.
people.
You like Kenny Omega. Well, I'm gonna boo him and boo Punk. I don't know.
Well, the show's taking place in London, so I can be heel to the crowd. I'll just start singing Irish rebel songs.
Man just gets arrested.
What's in the backpack, Paddy? It's just whiskey.
It's just whiskey, bro. I swear.
Why is it ticking? I left me watching there.
I'm just here for a good time. Oh god, that's funny. Oh yeah, it is in London. That'd be funny. Where in London? Wembley?
Wembley.
Wow. That's you know what? I don't know. London is very big, and I think like that was what I was saying about the
Well,
Comic Con. It's just so many people in London. It actually
well,
is like
look,
wild.
I'm going to tell you this. I
Go on.
have a ticket booked,
Yes.
two tickets for the show,
Yes.
and I have an Airbnb booked.
Right.
And as long as you promise not to try and feel me up, you know,
I don't think you have any fear.
there's your there's your accommodation sorted and your ticket sorted. I'm just concerned that, so I don't know if the listeners know this, but both their girlfriends are called Hannah.
That's true.
So what if me and you went back to the Airbnb stone drunk one night and we were laying in the bed and I started going, oh Hannah, and you were going, oh Hannah, and then the two of us woke up the next morning spooning.
That's a horrific image.
It's
It's a horrifying image, some would say.
But is it a risk we're willing to take to give the audience a live show from All In?
I think it's a safe risk. I don't think by zero. I don't think there's any risk in that.
A live show via Skype with you up in the rafters, me down on the floor.
You're sitting with all the patricians, and I'm just there with the plebs.
Yeah, with me big sign saying Mayo for Sam.
Oh, mail for Sam. Oh man, we could get like a bunch of signs, which is like mail for Sam at the hard camera, and then all the way up in the rafters. Mail for Sam. Listeners. Please, if you're going to this show, we need to get like a rake of these signs.
Yeah.
Mayo for Sam, and it's
On-
funnier because you can't be from Mayo because then it's not funny.
And you know what? We're not even actually going to explain what it means.
No.
Like, so for our non-Irish listeners, just take it on faith. Dara, I would lie to you because I'm a reprobate, but Dara would never lie to you.
No.
Even though he hates him, Dara is the Cody Rhodes of our little trifecta.
I really don't like Cody Rhodes.
Dara's the Cody Rhodes. Who's Dave? Who would Dave be?
I think Dave would want to be AJ Styles.
He'd want to be, but
Well,
I
I
think
don't-
he's Mick Foley.
Yeah, no, he's too hardcore. I Nick Gage. I think he's probably the Nick Gage.
Yeah, but Nick Gage is a wanker.
That's
And
true.
Dave's
too
really
nice.
nice. And
So Mick Foley. Yeah,
Mick
yeah.
Foley's
Mick Foley,
super
yeah.
hardcore, but also really nice.
Really nice. That's true.
So-
Okay, that's
so
fair.
I think you're Cody Rhodes because you're super white meat baby face. Dave is Mick Foley, and I am Jake the Snake.
Oh, that's
Uh,
fair. That's
yes.
fair. I can see that. I
I
can
have
see
a
that.
legacy of substance abuse problems, and I once pissed in a suitcase. So
He actually pissed the suitcase?
Yeah.
How did that work?
oh my god. Well, okay, so
The mechanics you don't need to explain, but like the
hold on.
circumstance-
We're on the podcast.
We're
aren't
on the podcast.
we? Okay. So the suitcase was called Sylvia, and I was going out with her at the time, and we went interrailing,
Okay.
right? And we landed in Poland,
Right.
and we eventually found our way to this very odd hostel we were staying at on kind of the edge of this city.
Right.
Very bleak looking, like really odd. But the hostel was like €5 a night, and also when you signed in, you got a free drink. So we signed
Nice.
in. Yeah, it was awesome. We signed
That's
in. we got a fr-
unbelievable.
No, it was brilliant. Now, bear in mind, this is back when I was in university. So you're talking like 15 years ago.
Still, I mean, that's still pretty good.
So we signed into this hostel, and guy behind the bar goes, you want free drink? You sign in, you get free drink." I was like, yeah. I was like, "From Poland." I was like, more of a whiskey man myself, but sure, we're here, so give us a vodka. And he says, "Okay, what do you want?" And I was like, I know, whatever the local vodka is." And he pulled out a pint glass, and then he opened a bottle of vodka, and he started pouring it in. He said, "Seven." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Seven." And all the time he's pouring. And I was like, "When?" And he stopped, and then he put like, a thimble of orange juice in on top of the thing. So I drank that, and we put our stuff up in the room, and then we came back downstairs, and this band had started, and suddenly this hostel that was in like this desolate abandoned area was now full of people, and there was a big party going on, and blah blah blah. And I woke up the next morning, spooning the missus, not the current missus, spooning the missus, and everything was soaked.
Oh man.
She was soaked. I was soaked.
Oh my god.
The bed was soaked. The
Oh,
blanket was soaked.
oh no.
And she woke up and she said, "Oh my god, what happened?" "Oh my god, did you piss yourself?" And I looked down, and there was an empty bottle of cider. I don't know where I got a bottle of cider in Poland. There was an empty bottle of cider beside the bed, and I grabbed it, and I went, "Oh no, I just dropped this." And I think it was like kayfabe. I think she knew it was fake, but she just chose to believe that because she didn't want to believe she'd been pissed all over in the middle of the night.
But where was the suitcase in this?
Oh, I mean, under the bed, it obviously dripped through.
Oh man. There you go, folks. Don't drink a pint of vodka.
So I'm Jake the Stick.
Oh god, Martin, you're some man for some stories, I tell you.
You wouldn't know this is a wrestling podcast.
Speaking of wrestling, there was
Speaking,
another pay-per-view which we kind of
another
alluded to.
superior.
Well, that's the thing. There is some debate online about it.
There is, yeah.
So, Double or Nothing from Paradise, Nevada, and that was on the Sunday. A little bit more disappointed with this because it was on the Sunday. I was like, oh, okay. So I had to watch it like a day later.
It
So I watched it
is,
on Tuesday.
and you know what? Tony Khan is fucking English.
That I know it makes no sense. It's like, man, come on. You
You'd
should know
think
what's
he'd
up.
have some, and he actually started out doing.
He did.
I mean, look, I get
He
it.
did.
Like, obviously, pay-per-views on a Sunday must make more money. Like, there's no other reason that they would.
Yeah, it's just because it's ingrained as a wrestling day.
Oh, but it's
That's what it is.
It makes my Monday so hard.
I know.
Like-
I'm the same. I hate
like-
it so much.
Like, it is already an incredible, draining, painful experience to work for the government in the 6 counties in the north of Ireland when you're not hungover. But when you're doing it after a bottle of rum and 3 hours sleep,
Man.
it's torture. It's torture. It's what the Brits used to do during internment to get information out of people. It's it's ridiculous.
I think they would have just turned on December to Dismember.
Oh my god.
On
You'd be
repeat.
confessing everything. You'd be going, yeah, it was me. I was in the GPO. Yeah.
Oh, that's such a bad show. That's such a bad show. It really is. Yeah, okay, but this show itself, while it wasn't bad, like so I initially heard, as we talked about earlier, we touched on it earlier on, the narrative was that this was a bad show.
I mean, the narrative on Twitter. But
Yeah, but
Twitter's-
it was picked up then on the Observer as well, and I was listening to it on the show. Now, here's the thing: I didn't think this was a bad show by any stretch of the imagination. I thought it was a low performing AEW show. You know, I was expecting more from this, but the only like outright bad points for me where the Chris Jericho match was very underwhelming. It really was.
Yeah.
And then like the actual 4-way.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Ah,
Did
well,
nothing for me.
this is where the value of our kind of 2-way comes from, in that we have a completely different.
But
Like, if it was just the two of us sitting around agreeing with each other, it wouldn't be very interesting.
No, absolutely. But I did really enjoy the main event. So I mean, it ended kind of the way I wanted it to end, with a good, strong main event. So I was like, okay, the show ended. It started off well, and well, except for the Jeff Hardy botch where he nearly killed himself. That was actually terrifying.
Oh,
That
that was
happened-
on the. I didn't even see that. That was in the pre-show.
Yeah, that happens way too much now in
So
AEW.
I read a.
That was the
I read
buy-in. It was the buy-in.
The buy-in, yeah.
Yeah.
So I read an article from an interview with Jeff and Matt that said, no, it just looked bad, but that was the way it was supposed to go.
Right.
I don't know if I believe.
No, I think there's a fair amount of copium there. I'm like, yes, you tried to kill yourself in the process. Sure you did. Sure you did. That's what everybody tries to do. Yeah, I mean, so that was a little bit weird, but I think for the most part they kind of hit their stride and really went for it. The tag match with Jeff Jarrett and FTR was actually surprisingly fantastic. Loved the ladder match.
Oh my god, it was. Well,
but-
I tell you what, can we go through the show?
Yeah, we'll go through bit by bit. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was. I don't think it deserved the slating that it got.
No, I'm so like confused by it. Okay, like you say, Jericho match wasn't great.
It wasn't great.
It actually wasn't a bad match, but it just wasn't an AEW pay-per-view
Yeah,
level match.
yeah,
And it probably suffered from the fact that there were so many other hardcore level matches.
yeah.
So him and um Adam Cole had a lights out match, but on the same pay-per-view as a ladder match and as a Anarchy in the Arena
Yeah.
match. And there was another gimmick match.
There was the ladder match, the open house rules match, and then the
Yeah,
Anarchy in the Arena match. Yeah,
yeah, but I mean the Anarchy in the Arena match was just. I assume what happened was they went out there for a lights out match. Now the lights out match in AEW lore is legendary. Like lights out matches are just the most insane level of violence. I
Hmm.
assume what they were told was actually the Anarchy in the Arena match is going to be,
The big one.
so you kind of have to tone it down. I
Mm.
assume that's what happened. But regardless of why it happened, the fact is that it was a bit disappointing. Um, the Jamie Hayter match was, yeah, also disappointing. I understand why, because she's injured, so she couldn't wrestle. She only went out there to drop the belt.
Yeah, it
Again, I get why, but that doesn't change the fact that,
was weird though, wasn't it?
yeah,
I
like
mean, no one would have been like, "Oh, how dare you?" It's
no,
like, no,
if
like
if she
it was
just
weird.
said, in fact, if she'd done like a really emotional interview where she just went, "I won this title and I really wanted to be your champion, and I'm so sorry that I can't be, but I'm injured and I have to go away." Like people would have loved her for that, and then you
Yeah,
could have had a proper match between, I don't know, Tony Storm and Britt Baker or whoever.
but this seems to be what they do. They did it with Punk as well. It's like, why do you? That's a weird AEW thing that is specifically from AEW. I've never seen.
I think it's because they had a couple of interim champions for a while, and the interim thing kind of developed. I don't know,
But
but
I've never seen any other wrestling promotion do this
yeah,
ever.
but
Even the depths of TNA, they never did this. You know, which is I know I use it, it's a bit of a meme that I use as a gauge, but I'm like, listen, they
it
didn't do
actually,
this. You know?
and Jamie Hayter is so beloved that it actually would have kept her even stronger
Yeah,
for her just to do an interview on Dynamite saying, "I
I'm
so
hurt.
wanted to go out and fight for you, but I'm hurt and I can't, and I'll be back someday."
Yeah,
Like that would have been. But look, so I understand the reason why the match wasn't good, but that doesn't change the fact that if you are sitting in the US and you paid $60 to see a match and you didn't see a match,
see,
it doesn't
that's
matter what the reason is,
the other side of it as well. I didn't pay anything for this WWE show. I mean, as I said, I watched it on the I was able to Chromecast it, and then I watched Men in Black 3. That was on the television. Great. This one I had to go find. So
Um, the only other thing that I thought was disappointing on the show
it's
was
an indictment. So harsh.
calling it Men in Black 3. I don't know what else, because I'm the guy who's like down on WWE, and even I'm sort of going, all right, man, calm down.
Calm down. I don't know what Men in Black 3 was fine.
It's like I know WWE ruined wrestling for 20 years and Vince raped a bunch of women, but
Oh my god.
It's
Allegedly.
not Men in Black
Allegedly.
3. It's not
Allegedly.
Men in Black 3.
I don't know. Look, Men in Black 3 wasn't bad. It wasn't like it was Men in Black 4, which was terrible altogether.
Is that the one that had not Macho Man in it, but was there some guy in it who looked like Macho Man?
No, no. That was true. Yeah, that was
What the
true.
hell was that about?
I don't know. He was like an alien or some shit.
What do you mean you don't know? You just watched it recently.
Yeah, but it wasn't Macho Man. He was just an alien.
All right.
Wait,
It's,
what was the movie about, or why did they choose to make him look like Macho Man?
Why was Macho Man in it?
He wasn't. He was just an alien that looked like Macho Man.
Why did he look like Macho Man?
I don't know. It wasn't
Right.
good. It wasn't good. It wasn't a good movie. This wasn't a bad movie.
The only other thing, back in the real world, the only other thing that was disappointing was I thought the Jade Cargill Ty Valkyrie match was good. Jade doesn't do very long. Jade doesn't do very long matches because she's still
No.
pretty green. But I thought of all her matches, this was one of the better ones. If Statlander had shown up and said, "I'm going to see you on Wednesday," I would have lost my mind. That would have been amazing. The fact that she showed up, Chris Statlander showed up, and then had a match with, I mean, she's the baby face,
Yes.
and she had a match with the heel who had just had a match, and then she beat her. I was like, oh, this isn't this isn't how you win,
No.
you know?
That's how
So,
she wins. By
and I
any
was
means
so,
necessary.
yeah, and I was so happy to see Chris Statlander back because, like, I mean, okay, apart from the injury story, like, I always liked her, but then the fact that she battled back from 2 injuries, she's like genuinely impressive. Like, why they had her do that rather than have her come out on the pay-per-view and go, "I'm gonna see you on Wednesday," and sell Wednesday that way, rather than rather than have her come down to the ring, do an impromptu match with AEW, which AEW don't do. They don't do impromptu matches. Their whole thing is that they have set fixtures because it's run like a sporting event. You know, like Manchester City can't beat Arsenal, and then Manchester United show up and go, "Oh, so you think you're good? why don't you take us on right now?"
Man,
like, no, man, we just had a match. We're
I
exhausted.
wish that would happen. That'd be amazing. I'm calling you out.
Roscommon beat Galway, and then Mayo show up.
Mayo
for Sam. We didn't earn our way to this final, but we're cashing in our money in Bunknaden.
Or what happens is after the final happens, Mayo walk out, then the music hits NWO.
Mayo show up, and then it goes, "Bound chicken, wow wow, all the green and red of Mayo."
Yes. Oh, it'd be amazing.
Mayo being played live to the ring by the Saw Doctors. But yeah, so I didn't like this impromptu thing, but that was kind of balanced by the fact that I love Chris Statlander. But see, apart from that, the Chris Statlander thing was mixed. The Chris Jericho thing was not bad, but disappointing. And the Jamie Hayter thing was bad, but understandably. Apart from that, pay-per-view was great. The Battle Royale was probably the best one I've ever seen. Like, it normally a Battle Royale where everyone starts in the ring is just a mess, but they built so many stories and so many matches through it. Like in this battle, out of this Battle Royale, we got the triple threat on Dynamite to see who faces Cassidy for the title. We got an advancement of the Swerve Keith Lee story. We got an advancement of the Ricky Starks Jay White story, and one of the biggest pops in the night was Ricky Starks throwing Jay White out of the damn ring.
That's true.
We got Big Bill, who has been a nobody, was absolutely made in this Battle Royale. Big Bill went rolla. He was throwing lads out left, right, and center. Like, so this Battle Royale was amazing. The Anarchy Arena, we'll get to that. It was incredible. Like, again, it'll depend on what type of wrestling you like, but if you like nonsense, this was grade A, top tier, farm to table nonsense.
Well, look, okay, right. In the time we have left, let's let's go over with the highlights for you. What were like the big takeaways? Look, we could say how bad the bad was, but to be honest with you, the bad wasn't as bad as the WWE can be, and it was a stronger show in many ways. But what was the reasons to watch it? What were the big takeaways?
The ladder match is incredible.
Great.
Incredible, because Wardlow is such a huge guy, and he's doing what Jeff Hardy did when he was 25.
Mm.
Like, it's that swanton bomb off that insane ladder outside the ring is just, it's mental. Christian Cage is amazing. He knows how to have a wrestling match
And he knows how to have these ladder matches as well.
while doing very little. Like,
Yeah.
like he's actually, if you're learning to wrestle, he's a masterclass to watch.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The triple threat match was good. It was maybe a wee bit long, but I really liked the house rules thing. You know, where the lights go all weird and they let the challenger pick the rules. I like that. I think that's kind of
It
arrogant.
is, but then I start worrying that Sin Cara is going to come out. That little
I thought
trampoline shows up. That's it, man. It's
game
over.
over.
It's over.
I'm tapping out. I'm going to the impact zone.
Hey. That sounds great. Sabu was on the show, wasn't he?
Oh my god, yeah. So Sabu was the
We call what are the odds that on the week that we pick Hardcore Justice, Sabu comes out obscurity into AEW.
Oh, it was mental.
It
But
actually
yeah,
was. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my god, here we go.
we were talking about it on the chat. Yeah, so Sabu was the enforcer between who was Sabu the enforcer? He was the enforcer in one of the matches.
For the unsanctioned match.
Oh yeah,
match.
for the unsanctioned match, yeah, because he leapt off the top rope and put was it a Jake Hager through a table?
Yep.
So that was mental. Like you were saying earlier, man, I completely admit I was wrong. Do you remember when Jeff Jarrett was first signed with AEW, and I was like, oh my god, this is so, like, this is the first like WCW level thing they've done, and I really hope that he's only on telly as a one-off, and then he can do whatever backs it. I was completely wrong. Jeff Jarrett is amazing.
That's the thing. Nobody watched the TNA run, which is his best run. He's brilliant. He really is.
You're like and I admit I haven't watched it either. But if this is it, if this is Jeff Jarrett at the age he is now, and his TNA run was him younger, I can't wait to see it, because this is incredible. That FTR Jeff Jarrett late Jay Lethal match was brilliant.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It really was. It really was.
The I know you didn't like it, but I thought the 4-way for the world title was.
There's just no stars there.
Oh, I completely disagree.
There's just not. No, I
think MJF is one of the biggest stars in wrestling. I think Darby Allin is the opposite of MJF. Not in that he's not a star, in that he's an underground star.
I just think they need.
I would concede that Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara are really good wrestlers, but they're not like
that, and that's where that was the problem. I was like, fair enough. MJF and Darby Allin, grand. They deserve to actually be in that title run.
This might have actually done better as a
it just didn't feel one-on-one. It actually would have been better one-on-one. And I don't really like fatal 4-ways anyway. We've talked about this before. But if you need to have a star, like, But the thing about it is the stars, quote unquote, are off, in factions fighting each other. So I mean, it's they kind of put themselves into a corner here, and look, the belt will be back on Punk in about.
But I think that's
a month,
kind of
so it'll be fine.
Admirable in that the top guys are involved in these like group feuds. I think
Mm.
it's kind of admirable that you're not being like WWE. You're not relying on Hulk Hogan for 20 years. You're building up these younger guys, and
Oh,
but look,
as I said, Punk's gonna be back in about a month, and that belt will be right back on him. Be like, oh, brother,
I think
that
he's
doesn't
gonna need to
that doesn't
he's
work for
gonna
me
need to
today.
show that he's sticking around for a long time before they do that.
Should we do an over under for how long it takes him to get the belt?
Oh,
I think we should. I think we should.
I bare minimum, a year.
Okay, I'm gonna go 3 months.
Not a chance.
3 months. No, I'm gonna say 3 months. Let's see who's
Look,
right. Let's see who's right.
he came into AEW and they treated him better than any wrestler has ever been treated, and he still stabbed them in the back. Like,
He's gonna do it again.
but that's what I mean. I think they've learned their lesson, and I think they're going to need. I think Punk is going to need to give them at least a year of very good, very loyal company behavior before he gets a whiff of gold.
I don't know. I think he
Although,
might.
do you know when we were talking earlier about like making him a heel?
Yeah.
Like, maybe don't give him the world title. If he took that international title off Orange Cassidy, that's
Ooh.
massive heat.
Yeah. Like the thing about it is, it's like, yeah, I think him having some kind of gold makes sense, or he makes his own title. He just walks in. He goes, "I don't need a title. I have nothing to prove." It's like, there you go. I think
Takes the FTW belt off Hook.
yes, that's the thing.
Just
Like, this is
beats
mine.
the shit out of Hook.
Just smacks him. It's like, this is mine.
Not even in a match. Just gets him
No,
outside
just
the
hits him.
arena and takes it. And beats up Taz as well. But look,
Oh,
whatever you're saying about stars, I actually thought the composition of this match was amazing. So
okay.
four-way matches often tend to be two guys pair off, or you get thrown out of the ring, and then it's a singles match until one guy comes in and then the other guy goes out, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
This felt like a fight between four people, and I don't know how for the 30 minutes that they wrestled, they remembered like the incredible sequence of movements and everything. I thought even if you didn't think that there were stars in it, I thought as a wrestling exhibition this was amazing.
I will give you that. It's for a wrestling pay-per-view, for a wrestling company that has such a limited pay-per-view space, you need to give stars. And what this felt like, a good main event of Dynamite. And that was
Okay,
my
yeah.
problem. And that was my
Okay.
problem with it. And for better or worse, and some people are probably like, oh, but you need to build stars. I'm like, yeah, that's true. But these weren't stars yet. And I think if you're in a position where you're putting Jungle Boy into your main event, just make it a singles match. Just
But
make it a single match.
yeah, and I mean, I kind of, on the one hand, I kind of agree with you. On the other hand, I genuinely really like Jungle Boy. I think he's going to be
No, that's
something.
fair. No,
But
I do too.
I
But
accept that he's going to be something, but he's not quite something.
yeah,
So I
he,
accept that.
he's not a main event star. You know, he's. But look, this is kind of what they have to do. The trade off for that was you had amazing stuff with the House of Black.
Yeah, yeah.
You
And
were
look,
able
like
you're able to get your Anarchy in the arena match, which you probably wouldn't have been able to get if they were off doing single stuff. So there is that trade off, you know, and there
yeah,
really is.
and
So
you have to build these. Like if you're going to build like guys for the future, I
yeah,
mean you got to build them somehow, and you build
no,
them by
absolutely, yeah,
putting them in
absolutely.
prominent positions.
Yeah, exactly.
But
That's the point I was making. Yeah, like you can't have it both ways. Like you really can't. It's a short term oomph. You know what I mean? Where it's like a short term little kind of like, okay, for
but
a big
it's
payoff.
yeah, but it's like we were saying about the Jamie Hayter match. I understand why it wasn't good, but that doesn't change the fact
Yeah,
that it wasn't good. So
yeah. Like if you were paying, like if you were paying what this costs in the States,
oh
I,
man,
I'd be upset.
I'd be so torn.
I'd be upset, you know.
So I actually signed up. This is before we get into the main event here. AW is actually running a deal at the moment
Nice.
where you get Double or Nothing, Forbidden Door, Revolution, and Full Gear
Mm.
for 50 quid.
Damn, that's really good.
They're normally 20 quid each.
It's really good.
And then in the US, they're 50 quid each.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I love AEW, but my God, I would
That's a lot of money.
if I
That's
was
a
in the
lot.
US, I would find that very difficult to justify. And do you know what? Maybe it kind of explains some of the backlash that this show got.
Yeah.
Because if I was in the US and I'm paying 50 quid for these pay-per-views, I would expect every single one of them to be an A plus plus.
Yeah, and that is kind of what you set yourself up for, you
Yeah.
know.
So maybe if WWE's $9.99 a month, maybe it's okay that their pay-per-views have two really good matches and then kind of a load of nothing. Maybe that's okay. But if you're asking people to put down 50 quid, yeah, maybe it's fair enough that you have to be held to a higher standard.
And that's why, there is that they moved away from the pay-per-view to the, what do they call it, premium live events.
Just as soon as I hear someone say PLE, I just lose respect for them. It's like
It sounds
you'll
like,
say anything Vince tells you, won't you?
it's
If
terrible.
he changed the name of a pay-per-view to Licky Licky Ball Ball, you'd be going around going, "Oh my God, the Backlash Licky Licky Ball Ball was amazing, wasn't it? It was the best Licky Licky Ball Ball of the past 10 years." You'd be going, "My God, shut the fuck up! I hate you so much."
But maybe not that name, but it does make a lot of sense when you think about it, because they're like, right, we kind of have to move away from the licky. Sorry,
Yeah.
we have to move away from it because there is the expectation that it's going to be, all bangers.
Well,
And it's just not.
imagine back in the like during what's supposed to be our current arc, but we keep moving away from it because it's so terrible. The Taboo Tuesday Cyber Sunday arc.
We're nearly there. We only have one show left.
We're nearly there. But imagine one of them Raw exclusive Taboo Tuesdays. Imagine you put down 50 quid for it. Wouldn't you be sick?
I did. Well, I didn't. My parents did at the time, but
Oh my God.
yeah.
You would
Yeah.
be like, but the main event. So before I say anything, I'm dying to get. What did you think of? Because you've very different views on hardcore stuff. What did you think
I
of the main event?
I hate John Moxley's theme music.
What?
I think it's so lame. Wild. It's like, stop, please. And then he had the lad with the black face coming out and singing it. It's like, why is he wearing? Why is he doing that? That's
Oh
that's
yeah,
opening up a whole can of worms. You know,
yeah. I had to look that up. So yeah,
it's
apparently
still
that's
it's still bizarre, man. It's like, why are you wearing black?
well. Well, it's not. What got
I
me
know, I
was
know it's a mask, but it's
Oh no no
still.
no no. I'm agreeing with you. But I'm saying what got me was
Go on.
it looks like he's in, like you're saying, like he's in blackface,
It does.
but it
It
also
does.
looks like he has huge red lips,
Yep.
which
Yep.
makes it look like actual racist
Actual
blackface.
racism. Yeah.
But
Like,
what it is it's his whole face is black, but he has a red streak down the middle. But whatever way he's holding the microphone, he's holding it just under his chin, so it looks like it's just his lips that are red. And I was like, "What is this minstrel bullshit?"
that's it's proper. It's proper minstrel bullshit. And you're like, man, for a company that's so progressive, you're like, you think they would have some awareness that, like, this ain't a good look, bro.
Well,
It's
he
like, come
gets
on.
he gets super kicked by the Young Bucks later on. So maybe this is their way of saying, "You didn't fix racism, Cody. We fixed it. We super
Super
kicked the
kicked it.
minstrel."
But yeah, aside from that, Tad, small uh, footnote, his music's terrible. and it just why Wild Thing? Just it's
I actually love that rendition
no,
of Wild Thing
no, no. It's so
because
stupid.
no, but there is. So I hadn't actually heard that version of Wild Thing before. I don't know what the main one I'd heard is, but it's a wee bit faster and a wee bit rockier. But what I love about this one is that whenever Moxley comes out, it has a perfect wrestling pause. So like you need a pause in wrestling for responses. Like
Mm.
what? It has this moment where it goes dun 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 dun, and there's like a brief pause before it goes wow thing. Which when you listen to it as a song, yeah, it's a bit slow and plodding, but as an
Mm.
entrance music, it gives everyone in the arena that second to just go wow thing, and you get like 10,000 people screaming it, and it's pretty cool.
I still hate it. I don't even know why I hate it so much. I just do. I just do. But anyway, other than that, I thought the actual match was quite good. Um, Brian Danielson, you know,
He is having the time of his life.
he is. It's great to see Claudio Castagnoli in there. I think it's the role
Oh,
he should be in.
he's
Yuta is
so
just
good as the enforcer.
Yuta's just class.
Isn't it
Look,
mad that they actually got Utah over?
yeah,
Like this time last year, I would have looked at Utah and go, I could bet that flat. And now he looks class.
yeah. It's just it's got to do with packaging and how they present them, and you know that's the great thing about stables. Stables have always been able to bring guys who may or may not be like the toughest guys in the world separately, or people who you buy separately, but when they're together, it completely changes the dynamic. So
You d-
that's I guess the point.
so I think I think one of the things where we have a wee bit between us that's lost in translation is that I watch a lot of the extra AEW stuff and you don't. So I take it you didn't see the Road 2
No, I
for
didn't.
okay. So the AEW Road 2s are genuinely amazing. I don't know why they don't put them on Dynamite. I don't know why they leave them on YouTube. They're so
Mm,
well made and they're so good.
mm,
They really need to be seen by more people. But prior to this uh, Anarchy in the Arena match, right, the week before in Dynamite, Wheeler Yuta had been in a tag team match with Brian Danielson, and
mm.
Yuta had gotten pinned and
Right.
lost. And on the road to Brian Danielson does this whole spiel about how I needed to teach Yuta a lesson. I need to harden him up. And he talks about how like he took Yuta to his house and he like smacked the shit out of him and wouldn't let him eat. Made him up, trained him till he dropped, and then on
Smack the
Double or
shit
Nothing,
out of him.
he pinned Kenny Omega, and
Yeah.
Danielson's like delighted with himself. He's like, I abused the shit out of this guy, and it worked. He's a better wrestler now. Like Danielson looks like a fucking psychopath. It it's amazing. Like it gives so much more to the character. But again, it's not your fault that you didn't see that because I don't know why they keep this stuff on YouTube.
Because they had to pay the money for Wild Thing.
But they pay it anyway.
Oh, I hate it so much.
Um, the actual match I thought was, I mean, look, it's going to come down to what your view is of these plunder brawls. But if you like plunder brawls, this is a, a masterpiece. It's actually I wouldn't like every match to be like this because it's
Mm.
so hard to watch. But for the half an hour that it's happening, it's a hell of an experience.
It
And
definitely wasn't like anything else on the card or anything else on the night as well, which was huge. It
yeah,
was huge. It was great.
I'm glad they keep it to one a year.
Yeah, because it would be very you get pain in your ass with it after a while. Genuinely,
Yeah,
if it was all
and if
that
they
all the
went
time, you know.
and if they went full WWE and had like a pay per view called Anarchy in the Arena, it would it'd take all the uh, kind of mysticism away from it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, my highlight of the match, I thought this was amazing. I was sitting watching this, big glass of rum, and this happened, and I actually shouted out. I nearly tipped over the table in front of me. I was like, yes! What did you think when Matt Jackson kicked John Moxley in the face with an exploding shoe?
Look, it was on brand. I mean,
Like,
so-
I completely understand if you didn't like this. Like,
no, I
I
mean, look,
loved it, but I can understand why someone wouldn't.
no, I
So
mean, look,
feel free to be honest.
yeah, look, it was terrible, but it was also like on brand. I mean, I wasn't sitting there like upset with it. I was like, Jesus, this is bad. But I have a certain level of like understanding with AEW where I'm like, oh, this is just Impact. So I watch it the same way now as I do Impact Wrestling. They're the same product. It's just, and I've said it from day one, and I'm like, it just becomes more and more like Impact every time. So, you know,
Well, I absolutely love this. I thought
I
it was
absolutely love this.
I
This
thought
made
it
my
was the
year.
I thought it was the absolute peak of nonsense that this insane match needed.
Oh, I had no problem with it.
And
I
then
had absolutely no problem with it.
and then like genuinely in what I thought was a brilliant bit of booking to have Wheeler Yuta pin Kenny Omega. I thought that was excellent. And they actually teased this on Dynamite this Wednesday. So Kenny was after the show. Kenny had said, I can't trust Don Callis. I can't trust Konosuke Takeshita, but I still have friends elsewhere. And on Wednesday, they were interviewing Hangman,
Hmm.
and they said, "Oh, we understand Kenny's not in the country anymore. He's gone back to Canada." And
Hmm.
Hangman said, "Kenny's not in the country, but he hasn't gone back to Canada," and he walked off. So I think they're teasing that Kota Ibushi and
Oh,
Okada are
oh,
maybe going to join Kenny in the Bucks for Blood and Guts.
which is
And
when? When is that?
well, it hasn't been announced, but I think it hasn't been announced because they don't want to announce anything until New Japan does their show. And I think New
Hmm.
Japan Dominion is on either this weekend or next weekend.
Right.
So maybe they're actually I'll look that up. So maybe they're holding off on fully announcing that
Hmm.
until like the Dominion show has happened. New
Okay.
Japan Dominion. Oh, 4th of June. It's on
Oh,
tonight.
oh, well, there we
Well,
go.
maybe when we go off the air, might have something to keep me busy.
On the Saturday night, compared to a Friday night.
Yeah,
Oh,
even the Japanese know how to do it.
they do.
Tony.
They know what's up. WWE don't though, because actually WWE do. Sorry, AEW don't because they're
Yeah,
unfair. Unfair.
yeah,
It's
it's
not.
ridiculous.
It's
You're
ridiculous.
f- you're from England, Tony. You know what the time difference is like.
So we were talking about Father Ted earlier on before the show. It's like you're on my enemy list now, Tony.
Yeah, but mine would be like Graham Norton's, and I'd turn it around and be like, I really like Tony.
Oh man. Do you think if we asked Tony to come on the show, he would?
Yes, but I think we'd have to trick him. I think we'd have to go, Tony, we've changed the name of AEW Unrestricted to to the Wrestling Rewind. And Aubrey Plaza and Tony Schiavone are going to be doing Irish accents for no reason
The whole time.
the whole time. And they're not going to be sticking to the script that we've set.
Just be prepared.
Yeah, so we need you to Skype Dara at.
Oh, that's good. All right. Well, look, you obviously said that you think Double or Nothing was a better show than
I
Night of
think I
Champions.
think I think Double or Nothing was a B plus. I think Night of Champions was a B
Oh, that's fair.
because
That's actually what I think too. Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
acknowledge that Double or Nothing's highs were very high. But
And
the
its
bits that
lows
were
are quite low. Yeah.
well, the bits that were disappointing were had been built up, particularly the Jericho match because Jericho's match with Roderick Strong the week before. He had this, I don't know if you saw it, he had this falls count anywhere match with Roderick Strong the week
Mm,
before Double or Nothing, and it was
mm.
actually brilliant. Like it was incredible. It was classic Jericho. He was like he got his face smashed into an ice cream machine and he's walking around. He can't see. This is backstage, and Roderick Strong's just kicking the living shit out of him, and his whole face his hair is white and everything. He can't see out of it. Oh, it was like it was genuinely brilliant match, and I think people were expecting like even more of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think because of the Anarchy Arena match, they were told, "Nah, you gotta
Tone it
tone it
down.
down."
All right. Very cool. And as I said, both of these shows, I would happily have them on before I watched Men in Black 3. Happily, no problem. So.
And that's not Men in Black 1 and 2 bangers.
Oh yeah. I mean, as I said, that's not an insult. It's just the only thing about it is I wish I was able to just watch them easier on my tablet. But sure, look, it is what it is. But Martin, is there anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Um, no, no, I've been flat out playing Tears of the Kingdom. I'm really looking forward to AEW Fight Forever. You know, there's Wembley coming up. There's Forbidden Door. Oh my god, I can't wait for Forbidden Door. Like, if you're a wrestling fan, if you're a gaming fan, we're eating pretty good at the moment. So don't need to plug that and just go out and enjoy yourselves, folks.
That's fair. That's fair. I will say, guys, again, we're gonna try and get better doing live shows because we've been bad at that. So if you want to get the live show again, even before you hear it, the podcast, you can go over to nerdtoknowmedia.com, thewrestlingrewind.com, subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to the Twitch, because that's where we're going to be live streaming them from. And yeah, we will be
Oh,
back next week.
sorry.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. I actually do have something I want to plug. My very good friend Dara has achieved a new level in his taekwondo. I believe he's one below a
Oh,
black belt now.
yes, I have. I the highest belt you can go without being a black belt in
I'd
Taekwondo. So
like to use my plug moment to say congratulations to my good friend
thank you,
Dara. Well done.
thank you, thank you. So next year I'll be going for my black belt. So I have a year to get ready for it. So thank you
And
for
I would also
thank
like to take this opportunity. I know a couple of weeks ago I said that if people put enough money into Patreon, me and you would have a fight, and I would like to now rescind that offer.
That's fair. That's fair.
Doesn't matter how much money you send, doesn't matter how many X-Pac euros you send us, folks. I'm not getting in the cage with that man.
That's fair. That's fair. But you bring up a good point. If you want to support the show, go over to Patreon and give us some X-Pac euros because that would be great. And then we can spend them on our trip to London, where we will do a live podcast of the post AEW show. So you can help
Absolutely.
send us over.
Interviews with CM Punk, with MJF, we're going to have the whole works.
They don't lie.
I mean, if we have a thing recording and we shout at them and they respond, even if they just say "fuck off," that's an interview,
That's
right?
just show up as they're like eating. Hey, what do you think?
That's
Fuck off.
that's an interview.
That's
I'm
it.
fucking eat here, man. Yeah, that's an interview, right?
And then we can just speculate on the 2 seconds of audio.
Exactly. And we like you're saying, we have a couple of guests on next week.
We
So
do.
if you want to up the ante and go from an X-Pac euro to a Virgil tenor, we invited you on the show. If you want to take part, if you want to recommend something for us to review, if you want to give your thoughts on it, we're very open. Your Xbox tenor goes your Virgil tenor goes a long way.
Yes, and that's going to be a new tier that's added because we take this joke very seriously. With for a tenor, you can be on the show.
Where do we go above Virgil tenor?
Where is it below?
Yeah, we'll have a good think about it.
We'll have a think about it. But folks, want to thank you so much for being on the show, for listening to the show. We've been on the show, for listening to the show, and we'll be back next week with Buried Alive 1996. So talk to you then, guys. Bye.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.